All right, so our components now have text styles applied. And if we actually go back to our mockups, we can already see some of those applied, like here with our buttons. Of course, like things like this forgot password button, because it's not a component, it hasn't been applied. So always feel free to check, go back in here and then select the right font. Just go ahead and align them again. Maybe bring this down a little bit and bring these two a little bit up. That looks good. I'm going to select my terms here and also set it to style of body Carla 17 bold. Just going to stretch it all the way through. Now, if you remember before, we didn't have this and as a bolded font. So you can still go in here, double click and choose the word that you want or multiple words, and then use the shortcut Command B, and then that will go ahead and unbold that part. And what else do we have here? We have our payment. Let's go ahead and select all of these and do a text style. Body Carla 17 point. That looks good. Our button automatically has that Carla text. Let's change this payment to header Rubik 26. Just gonna stretch that out, center it. That looks good. Let's see what we need to change in here. We just need to change the search text over here to, let's do body Carla 17. And again, make sure you center and align things properly. For our main pages here, I see my cards already had the font applied because that was a component, but I think everything else, other than the navigation and tab bars here, are inside the page. So why don't we go ahead and first do the tab bar and the navigation bar. So let's click into one of the components here, or one of the instances of the navigation bar, go to master component, and then here let's apply the same fonts here. Let's actually go ahead and select Rubik as our font and keep everything else the same. And then let's go ahead and create a new header Rubik 36 point. It looks like I just made a mistake here in the name. It's actually a 34 point font. So just go ahead and edit style and change the name here to 34. From here, you can even add description. So if you have a team and you're working with them, you can tell them what this font should be applied to and things like that. I want to go over here to the tab bar. Make sure you don't have any of these ones selected, but the tab bar itself. Then go ahead and change this to body Carla 17 bold. Fix this in the center. Let's do the same thing. I'm just holding shift here and then doing the same thing. Let's go ahead and center my text here, bring it down. So it looks like it's just 15 pixels from the bottom. So let's maintain that 15 pixels from the bottom and make sure that that and this are centered as well. And it looks like it is. You don't need to change the status bar because that's going to be the default font in there. We won't have any control over this. So let's go back to our mockups. So the navigation and tab bars here now have the right font, except for this button here. So let's change that to body Carla 17 bold. Looks good. So let's go into here. Let's select style and do this style here. Or let's actually do the 22.1 like so. So this page looks good now. Let's go ahead here. Let's actually go ahead and make the email just this one here. Not so it's not bold, and then choose this one as the Carla 17 bold. Or actually we can even do Rubik header 22. Let's go ahead and just make sure those are centered and change the address here to body Carla 17 bold. Change these ones, align to vertical centers. And I'm just going to repeat the same process for the other two buttons as well. Feel free to pause here and do that on your designs. All right, so with those applied, I think almost everything here has that new font. The only exception being these two fields here. So let's just jump in here and make sure those are also using the text style of Carla 17 and center the vertical. Same thing here. All right, with our two new fonts applied to our mockup, you can see things look a lot better now. It has a unique taste to it, the whole app and the whole mockup feel. And if I go to my services page, I see some of the text here looks like is too big. Like for example, the date stamp here and the status can probably be a little bit smaller than this. So why don't we go ahead and select this, go to master component, And then for these two, I'm actually going to detach the style and then use a font of 14. And let's go ahead and actually change the fill color to a bit lighter. I think that looks good. So why don't we go ahead and create a new style from that, and maybe do this one as body Carla 14. And then apply the same thing to our status text here. So let's change the font here, and I'm going to apply the same fill 585858. All right, so that looks good. So now I just want to quickly switch over to my styles. Over here for my color scheme, I have a primary text and a secondary text. So I think we're not going to actually go ahead and dive into adding some primary text and secondary text color here, but you can go ahead and do that, and then from our components or wherever you want to add similar colors for the text that we have here, instead of having a custom one here, you can just go ahead and actually use your color styles, but this time you'll be able to use a color style for the text. We won't jump into that here, but feel free to apply those to your projects. Now if I go back, things look a lot cleaner here. So yeah, wherever you see things look a little bit odd, feel free to go ahead and change the color like we've done. So you can apply the same colors to here as well. And wherever you see you have text that you don't want it to stand out as much as the other text, feel free to go ahead and apply multiple color styles based on your text. So there we have it. That's our type styles here. Very useful in Figma, and definitely go ahead and apply it. And keep in mind you have access to it from here. Whenever you just select your canvas here, you should be able to access your local styles, both color styles and text styles here. And then from here, you can actually go ahead and tweak them as well. So if you decide to at some point, let's say, make your header 30 points here, as you can see in my project, it will change everywhere else. Of course, you might need to go in and tweak the sizes of some of the text boxes here, but feel free to make tweaks and apply this to your own projects as well.